Welcome back. We are moving along through the four critical ingredients to every successful revolution. So let's think about the revolution. What does that mean? The definition again is a sudden, complete, or marked change in something, a drastic or far-reaching change in ways of thinking and behaving. So if we're going to think and change the way we behave, we have to recognize the problem, and we have to, secondly, join the ranks of the resistance. Jesus brought that to the table as he enlisted his disciples. They were the new resistance, and he had to cultivate who they were. This was absolutely true of the Revolutionary War for America. Washington had this incredible dilemma. How can we break free from England, who has the strongest army literally on the globe? They were the world power at the time. It was like a death warrant to say you're going to go up against England or the king. So if they decided to do this break from England, they had to build the resistance. I've said earlier, you can have a rebel without a cause, but you can't have a revolution without a crowd. George Washington needed a crowd. And to get that crowd, he was able to leverage what a man by the name of Thomas Paine made available for the nation. A little book, pamphlet really, called Common Sense. It was printed at the level of 500,000 copies and spread across all 13 colonies. It was read in taverns, in churches, in school buildings. It was read at every gathering of every people. Literally around campfires, they're reading Common Sense. That little pamphlet ignited in the colonies a single vision of what they needed to do. They needed a crowd. That crowd is what was leveraged to bring the revolution to bear. The revolution that Jesus brings to us is similar. For the American Revolution, they needed patriots. For the Jesus Revolution, we need disciples. For the disciple of Jesus Christ, we have to recognize that it requires of us a willingness to commit to his cause. John Maxwell has a great definition for a disciple. He says, a disciple is a learner under discipline who has voluntarily submitted him or herself to be taught. Discipleship does not bring people into legalism. It brings them into liberty. It doesn't manipulate people. It matures them spiritually. Discipleship doesn't dominate people. It develops them to their full potential for God. Discipleship doesn't restrict people. It releases them to their own ministry. A disciple is one who's learned to submit to authority and is therefore able to exercise authority. That's what George Washington needed. The challenge for the American Revolution was, even after the first year, after the Battle of Trenton and Concord, they went home. They were a militia that stepped up for a moment, but they weren't in this for the long haul, and so they went back to their homes. They abandoned the cause. We have to create a catalyst to bring them in. George Washington needed a continental army. He drove for that, and his ability and success at that, some would say, is what won the Revolutionary War. And it's what's going to bring the resistance of Jesus to the second coming. Jesus called his disciples to come and be those individuals who would be voracious learners of who he is, to discipline themselves, to learn what they had not learned on their own, so they could follow him with abandon, so they could be the resistance movement. And now that movement is up to you and I. We are the current day spiritual patriots for the cause of Christ. And it's up to us not just to follow him with abandon, but to enlist others. As you discuss your material this week, talk about ways that you can be more passionate about this resistance movement, and how as a group maybe you can reach out to others to involve them to join the ranks of the resistance, to be the revolutionaries that could change the world. Welcome to the revolution.